So as I said, we operate a pull-based system. That is, production is based on the pull in the market. So we don't overstock anything. It is based on the sales trend and what is being sold in the market. 100-year legacy, a deep market insights, and backed by superb R&D insights or R&D capabilities, which help us develop winner products which cater to a large part of the country's population. So yes, there will be a demand continuation in terms of safe snacking in the confines of your house. That will continue. So that is of the prime importance, that what the consumer, when the consumer opens a pack, the kind of experience she needs to see or she needs to get, that designs the type of packaging that we want. We are one of the top 3 packaging consumers in the country. Countries outside, especially Europe, US, is more on sustainability and solvent less, etc. In India, some of us are on that journey, but a large part of the industry in India is unorganized. So I think the packaging industry in India is right up there when you compare it with global. I don't see too much of a gap between what is abroad and what is here. The uncertainty in an FMCG industry or in the food industry is very high, because one is you are dealing with products which are perishable forward. We are in a very volatile environment. So it is quite challenging, and at the same time, it's quite interesting also. Our processes need to be aligned to the new world now. The complexity is going to change. Product life cycles are going to get shorter and shorter. Ultimately, the consumer decides what everybody across the chain can pay for.
With a 100 years legacy and a turnover of over 10,000 crores, Britannia Industries is India's leading biscuit manufacturer, also present in many other food categories and with a growing presence across the globe. Cherished by many generations of Indians, Britannia produces India's favorite brands like Good Day, Tiger, NutriChoice, Milk Bikis, Marigold, Little Hearts, and many more. Britannia's portfolio of products expands beyond biscuits and includes dairies, cakes, rusks, and breads. The company is present in more than 60 countries. Britannia and its flagship brands are routinely voted amongst India's most trusted, valuable, and popular brands. It is India's first zero trans fat food company. Ladies and gentlemen, we have with us today Mr. Manoj Balgi, Vice President and Head of Procurement of Britannia Industries. He is responsible for managing procurement of raw materials, packaging materials, capex, and projects. A very warm welcome to the show, sir. Insights with Nidhi Verma.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Nidhi. Been a pleasure to talk with you. I have been watching the various episodes and I find them insightful. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Pleasure is all ours. Balgi, sir, the managing of procurement and packing material must have been a little bit of a challenge over the past 6 months. How did you manage the huge responsibility for meeting the daily requirement and making end products reach across the country?
So the benefit that we had is we are a food company, so getting permits to operate in the beginning was relatively easier for us compared to many of our many other industries in the country. So the entire team came together, helped each other out, and got our business back on track in terms of manufacturing and distribution. And we also helped most of our suppliers to get their necessary permits to operate, because they were supplying to a necessary commodity or an essential commodity, and that helped. So it was more of a teamwork in terms of getting things back on track. First, about a couple of weeks were difficult, but then I think the government machinery was also extremely cooperative in terms of helping us operate and extending all possible help that we could do. And after the 1 month, things have been fairly smooth.
Chemical sprays and most means of disinfectants may be out of the question. So how do you normally also ensure, the perishables remain fresh till delivery?
So as I said, we operate a pull based system. That is, production is based on the pull in the market, so we don't overstock anything. It is based on the sales trend and what is being sold in the market. So freshness is always maintained, and we are a food company, and two things are of paramount importance to us: the human safety of people who work in our factories and the food safety of the consumers, food safety from the point of consumers. So in both cases, we followed the government advisories, worked with the local agencies in managing the food safety, the human safety part of it. The normal human safety in day-to-day operations and human safety during COVID are totally different. So we work very closely with the local government authorities to ensure that, you know, the people who come into the factory, our distribution workforce, you know, our distributors, etc., all were trained, and we ensured that, you know, they remain as safe as possible during these circumstances. Food safety, being a food company, is of prime importance, and we were extra careful in terms of what was coming in terms of maintaining freshness, getting extra checks, etc. But I don't think anything extraordinary was done, because we are a food company and we always operate in a very food safe environment.
So the basics are always correct. So nothing really needed to be edited there. Excellent. Manoj, sir, Britannia is a household name and we have grown up with it. The old ad is imprinted not only in our minds, but also in our hearts. You remember that one? Guests for tea, bring out Marie. Britannia, 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 Marie. Ting, 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 ting.
In fact, you would be surprised. A colleague of mine actually dug out a video today, and a very old ad with what you were singing was, I happened to see it today morning. Very coincidental, but true.
Yeah, I have also seen it recently, and I remembered that, you know, we have grown up watching those black and white television ads after the Doordarshan circle. What products are more salient in our portfolio now, sir?
Okay. So our most salient product, there are so we have a wide portfolio because we cater to the need of various consumer segments. But if I were to tell you, our salient brands are Good Day, Marigold, and Milk Bikis. Good Day is the second largest biscuit brand in the country. In urban India. Probably the largest in urban India and second largest in the country. And it is the most trusted food brand in the country. Marie is the third largest biscuit brand. And see, we have a 100-year legacy, a deep market insights, and backed by superb R&D insights or R&D capabilities, which help us develop winner products which cater to a large part of the country's population.
Okay. So your products are highly dependent on the taste buds of the consumer, which keep changing. How do you manage to cater to such a diverse country like ours, and also overseas, where languages, water, taste, actually they change every 2 miles?
Yeah. So as I said, we are a 100-year-old company, and over the 100 years, we have developed those consumer insights into what the consumer wants, because ultimately it's a food company and depends on the taste. If we are not able to satisfy the taste buds of the consumer, we won't be successful. And the fact that we have been doing well for the last 100 years is a testimony to the expertise that the company has developed in terms of understanding the consumer insights and translating that into a product that meets the consumer requirements.
Okay. So what will be the impact of the so-called, as we are saying, the new normal, you know, where the work from home has increased? Are people like to do more snacking in the work from home, or how have the volumes you've seen changing in the last 6 months?
See, yes, in the initial phases, definitely, you know, there was a lot of stocking that was happening in the houses, because one was not clear when one could go out, and when you go out, what would you get? So whenever you had a chance to go out to a store, people were buying more. But, you know, the alternate delivery channels like e-com, the likes of Big Baskets, Amazons, etc., made sure that in the comfort of your home, you will get whatever you want. And I think the government is also very clear about, you know, economy and lockdowns, how to, you know, manage both of them. And to that extent, you know, there is some kind of semblance of sanity and demand, or stability in demand, which is coming in, right? So new normal, yes, when people work from home, they typically end up working more hours, and definitely the need for healthy and safe snacking is there. And it is going to continue, because even when the lockdowns get eased up significantly, there will still be some kind of there will be some time till when people will actually feel comfortable to step out without any fear, travel in public transport, etc. So we see work from home continuing for a longer time for various reasons. People have got used to it. It gives cost benefit, probably gives productivity benefits because you spend lesser time traveling, and that time can be productively used. So yes, there will be a demand continuation in terms of safe snacking in the confines of your house. That will continue.
Excellent, sir. Sir, our audience is going to have a lot of converting packaging industry colleagues.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
share with us what is the process for development of packaging material for a new SKU, like you just launched the croissants. What are the basic principles that you follow?
So the purpose of packaging, as we all know, is keeping the product safe and fresh, right, till the consumer consumes it. So that's where the work starts in terms of what is the most appropriate packaging structure needed to deliver the delivered quality that the consumer expects. And we have to understand that the material passes through multiple handling, from factory to depot, depot to distributor, distributor to sub distributor, and finally to the market and to the consumer. So it goes through a lot of handling and if I may call torture along the way till it reaches the consumer. So that is of the prime importance, that what the consumer, when the consumer opens a pack, the kind of experience she needs to see or she needs to get, that designs the type of packaging that we want, right? And then comes the functional parameters in terms of machinability, and then comes the aesthetics, right? So all three go hand in hand, but the prime importance, obviously, you pick up a pack, one definitely needs to look at the aesthetics. So that is important, the shelf throw of the pack, how the pack looks on the shelf, is it attractive enough to get the consumer attention? But the safety is of prime importance. So the whole work starts from what is the intended experience the customer is supposed to get, and how will the packaging help in that. So what kind of structure in terms of maintaining shelf life and preventing damage of the pack in the market.
Totally agree with you. So the packaging actually is the major requirement for any food item. What is the quantum of the packaging approximately, Manoj sir?
uh, it keeps varying. As I said, we generally don't disclose quantums, but it's sizable. So you can say we are one of the top 3 packaging consumers in the country.
Okay. So what is the breakup, even if you take a ratio between the paper as well as the plastic packaging that you're using?
Um, in terms of tonnage, it would be half, about thereabouts. Paper may be slightly more than plastic.
Okay. Sir, and out of your total products, which are the, what is the, what contributes most to the exports? What is the taste of what goes overseas?
So our export business is two-pronged. One is we have a manufacturing facility in Dubai and Oman, and that takes care of the surrounding areas. And then we have, a couple of years ago, we set up an export-oriented unit in Mundra, in Gujarat. And most of the products that we make in India, so there are two. So we have a brand franchise of the operations that we run in Dubai. So a part of it gets manufactured here, and the others are the Indian brands. That is the brands that we sell in India, and the Indian diaspora is there, as you know, all across the world, and they have fond memories like you have of the products. So almost every brand of ours is sold abroad.
Okay. You're selling to 60 countries. That
Yeah.
that says itself. And I heard somewhere that you are adding one geography every year, which is like quite
Yeah, that's
commendable.
the strategy. That's the strategy.
Manoj, so what is the technology gap between suppliers of flexible packaging material converters in India, or you have some experience with them from across the world?
So I think, see, most of the big packaging companies in the world are already in India. So you have Amcor, you have Huhtamaki, you have Constantia, all of them are in India. And so they bring in the latest trends in terms of technology, sustainability, etc. And backed by that, backing that is the entrepreneurial experience of the domestic entrepreneur who are running these businesses before they were acquired by the multinationals, right? So it's a good potent mix in terms of technology, etc. uh, I think there may be a little bit of more gap because the countries outside, especially Europe, US, is more on sustainability and solvent less, etc. in India, some of us are on that journey, but a large part of the industry in India is unorganized. So it's going to take some time to get onto that journey. And I think accordingly, the I think the packaging industry in India is right up there when you compare it with global. I don't see too much of a gap between what is abroad and what is here.
Okay. You mentioned sustainability, sir. How is Britannia planning to address sustainable packaging and recycling issues? What is your plan in that important area?
Okay. So three-pronged approach. One is in terms of making sure that our packaging is biodegradable. Right. So we are working on that in terms of, and a large part of our portfolio, all the layers in the plastic packaging are already from the same family. So they are biodegradable, right? And we are going towards 100% of that. Then the second part is in terms of reduction of usage of plastic. So we have stated that we will remove wherever possible. So like say things that we use like trays, plastic trays, which get into many of our products. We are working on strengthening our packaging to reduce the plastic trays. And the third one is on recycling, where we are partnering with certain agencies in terms of collection and recycling. So we have a sustainability agenda, and you would find it in our annual reports also, the sustainability agenda, and we are working towards it.
Okay. So one more question. Do you need some preparation for the vendors also to fall in line with this sustainability drive?
See, we typically work with A-grade vendors because we have a qualification process, and most of them have these things available. Wherever they are not, we work. But many a time, see, the sustainability can be both ways. It can be driven by the supplier and it can be driven by the customer, right? So in our case, it is a mix and match of both, right? So we work with people, and it's a joint effort in terms of making sure that the packaging is recyclable.
Okay, thanks for sharing that. Manoj sir, in what direction for improvement in quality and technology, shall the Indian converters move for betterment? What is your opinion?
So see, so food safety authority is getting very active, rightfully so. So there are a lot of initiatives. I think one of the key things is on traceability, right? And that is something that differentiates us from people abroad. That there's absolute traceability outside India, and in terms of traceability, we are not there right now where we should be. So I think work should be done in terms of traceability and tamper proofing, or what one may call not exactly tamper proofing, but not being able to copy something. So preventing spurious products getting into market. So say there are instances where people copy a lot of things and just change something, and you can see that all over the place. Any product that you see, you will see a duplicate. So how to protect the food products from that, because there's a huge amount of equity involved in that. Sustainability, as I said, people are there, people are working on it, and traceability is very important. So if at all there is a problem in the market, how does one address it quickly and move forward? And improving productivity of packaging, and not in terms of cost. How do we work together to bring down the usage? So how do we improve barriers of the packaging so that we use less plastic per ton in terms of the finished product that we use, and working together on recyclability and collections, etc.
Very well put, sir. That's a very good message for our converters. Thanks for sharing that. Manoj, sir, some packaging suppliers I've been speaking to a few during this interviews, they feel that brand owners are not really prepared to pay for a little bit of innovation and development, and they want always the price to be down. This leads to a little lack of quality improvement and possible loss of advantage over a long term. What is your opinion on that?
So we believe that price is something which the consumer is willing to pay, right? And our costs have to be aligned to that, right? And we promise something to the consumer in terms of quality, taste, etc. That cannot be compromised, right? And that is where innovation comes in, right? So this is a common thing which all converters tell us. You people only look at prices, etc. It's not that way, right? So price is what the consumer is willing to pay, and we have to adjust our costs without compromising on any of the functional performance, functional parameters that people would, that the consumer would expect from us. And there are multiple opportunities in bringing down the cost. And it's not that only prices need to be brought down. So you see, the converters are also working on, putting up larger printing machines so that their, throughput goes up. They are working on various productivity initiatives, and these actually lead to reduction in cost. And that's where it is, because today market is very competitive, and of course we have to invest a lot in our brand to make sure that we are the preferred choice. And when we invest in our brand, we have to make sure that the quality of the product that we supply to the market is impeccable, right? There cannot be any second guessing on that, right? And we have to service the consumer at the cost the consumer is willing to pay. So we also, as an organization, look at various productivity opportunities. And we can also say that, the consumer is not willing to pay, so should we compromise on our product? We don't do that, right? So I think that is there for every participant in any industry. That is there for every participant in any industry, that if I were to give you an example, look at what a car costs, okay, 10 years ago and today. Is there a difference in the cost of the car? I don't think, right? And has the car performance deteriorated? No.
I said the productivity, the features that come in have always increased, right?
Yeah, and that applies to every industry. One has to look at productivity continuously to keep costs in check, because ultimately we all exist because of the customer or the consumer. And if the consumer is willing to pay something, and we have to manage our costs within that without compromising on quality.
This has come across as a business lesson for all of us, Manoj sir. I myself will learn from this. Thank you. Manoj sir, you have a huge and vast experience in supply chain management and procurement. What is the price differentiator and challenges compared to your previous assignments in the current one? I think from automotive as well as paint.
So as I said, we work in a pull-based organization, where in an industry which is pull-based, that whatever sells one has to produce, right? The difference in the other companies or other industries that I worked on was, it was mostly push-based. You produce and try to sell, right? So the uncertainty in an FMCG industry or in the food industry is very high, because one is, you are dealing with products which are perishable. You cannot produce more than the shelf life, or and then they reach a vast population of the country, and the distribution is unimaginable, right? So, and the complexity is unimaginable. The number of SKUs, the number of factories, the number of lines, the number of distribution channels that you work with. So then there is a lot of volatility. The volatility in terms of inputs, in terms of supplies, in terms of prices, keeps on increasing as we go forward. We are in a very volatile environment. So it is quite challenging, and at the same time, it's quite interesting also. See, every assignment that one does, one learns something, and I have learned something in everything that I have done in the past. And I'm grateful for whatever experiences that I have got in the past. And this, I think, is probably working in an FMCG company, which is very dynamic. It's fast growing. It's growing, probably it's one of the fastest growing companies in the country, right? And the kind of complexity that we handle, and eventually at the end of the day, when one is supplying food to people who eat, and it can be your family members also, the experience is quite satisfying at the end of the day.
I know, sir, where the hunger for learning comes, and this is how your performance is always impeccable. Manoj, sir, in the last 6 to 7 months, everyone has done a lot of introspection, and they have kind of, put a halt to see that how they were leading their lives personally as well as at business. And after this pandemic, what are the few changes that they would like to bring in both ways? What has been your learning? Maybe one for personal and for business.
So it is intermingled. See, we all started working from home somewhere by mid of March, right? And the whole notion that, one has to be physically present for every process in the company is challenged now everywhere. People have realized that, a lot of things can be done remotely, and technology has helped. So like we are talking on Zoom, right? So Zoom, WebEx or Hangouts are things which probably people never took very seriously in the past in terms of tools for collaboration, are coming through. So it's becoming a part of life, right? And And if you can see, a lot of people are using it for personal uses also. Like there are family meets which are happening on Hangouts and so on and
Yes.
so forth, right? So
Marriages also are happening now.
yeah, yeah. So technologies which were earlier looked at as something which only businesses can use is available to everybody, and it is connecting people. And what we have also realized that, uh, our processes need to be aligned to the new world now. One cannot be physically present. I don't know how long, and even if when everything becomes okay, how things will change, right? So aligning processes to the new business requirements, that means uh, frequent matrix based reviews of operations processes, looking at efficiencies in processes and looking at blind spots in the processes and correcting it, right? That is what has helped. And people who have done it well have done well in this also. If you see the business performance, people who have done well in this aspect have done well in the pandemic also. The business performances have not got affected. So that's quite important. Being agile, being on top of things, being connected frequently, and when you have physical meetings, sometimes people, or maybe things go a little beyond what one wants to, meeting durations, etc. With online, when there are multiple things to do, I think that a lot of discipline is coming into people. And on the personal side, I think that free time that is available, the time that is saved in terms of commuting, and I think in every city in this country, commute is a major pain for everybody, right? So that
Mumbai,
is being,
sir, you should that tops the chart.
yeah, I was born and brought up in Mumbai, so I am aware of that. Yeah. So
Okay, yeah.
so I think that time is being used by people more productively. People are using this time to upskill themselves. So if you see, the enrollment on online learning platforms is high, right? So I think people are using this time productively. There is a lot of uncertainty, but I think there are a lot of positives also from this.
Yes,
Different
there
ways
is
of
a
working, being more productive, upskilling yourself, spending more time with family. That's the positive side of this.
well said, sir. I think which poet I forget, but it says the old order changeth, yielding place to new, and man struggles and finds a way to reach his ends.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I think all these technologies, communication technologies, which have helped everybody in a big way in this era.
And also acceptability of utilizing these technologies, because earlier
Yeah.
they may have been there, but we were more happy just going along the way that we were working. Now it is forced, but after using it, the productivity is much higher, that is for sure.
So just see the adoption of online shopping.
Oh
uh,
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
it's been huge. And even the elder people who were not very comfortable with using a smartphone or browsers, internet for doing online shopping, everybody is doing that. And I think people are finding it very convenient, comfortable, and that's just a change that we see in this whole scenario.
And cost effective also, cost
Yeah, it's
effective.
it's cost
and
effective.
and once we've got into that consumer behavior, sir, when we, even for a smallest of thing, even maybe for a soap bar, we are not going across to a shop and buying it, we are doing it through our B2B and e-commerce sites.
Yeah,
It will not go back now. We will not be going back to the what our behavior was
yeah,
pre-COVID.
yeah,
So this will be changed consumer patterns, I think.
yeah,
What more to say from the biggest one of the biggest consumer companies, food in the
yeah,
country.
yeah.
Manoj, sir, what would be your message, especially to the flexible packaging material suppliers and converters in our country, since a lot of them would be watching you through this session?
So first is, I would like to express my gratitude to all our packaging suppliers. They have been with us in this, and they ensured through timely actions that our business runs, right? And we worked like a team. So I would like to express my gratitude here using this forum. If any of our supply partners are watching, a big thanks from the Britannia team to all of them, right? Uh, the second thing is, it's not a message. I would say that, everybody has to look at their processes now. World is changing, right? The complexity is going to change. Product life cycles are going to get shorter and shorter. So how does one adapt to a small demand coming in, and small and seasonal demand coming in, right? And fluctuations in demand between products. So our converters, I don't call them converters, they are our supply partners. Many of them don't like being called converters. They take offense to being called converters, and I appreciate that, I respect that. So they have to align their processes in terms of managing smaller, quicker requirements, quicker and smaller turnarounds. Okay. As far as the regulatory requirements that are coming on sustainability, I think all of them are doing their bit, so no complaints there. And the third one is related to the question that you asked me about, cost. I think uh, everybody has to be conscious about their own costs and productivity, and be competitive in the market, because as I said, ultimately the consumer decides what everybody across the chain can pay for. It's not what Britannia wants to pay, but it's the consumer, and we have to align our costs accordingly. And I think that's what I would, if I may call that as an advice or a suggestion, right? So look at that, and look at productivity seriously, and that's how one can survive, because all other aspects are there. They have technology, they have the access to the latest in the world today. So productivity is something which every participant in the chain needs to focus on.
Manoj sir, it's been such an interesting session. And from my entire industry colleague side, we thank you for sharing your thoughts at this very important change of time, as we may say. Really, I would say that kudos to you and the team, where we've seen you managing so many variables, not only environmental, but also from the customer side, to be 100% delivering on time, the same quality, the same standards, and actually sharing the lessons with us. We are going to see you soon on the other side. Until then, bye, sir.
Sure. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. And again, I would like to thank all the supply partners here who have been with us in these difficult times. Really appreciate their efforts. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Bye bye.
Bye bye.